Hello everyone and welcome to Yosemite Valley on the wonderful hump day. Please don't click away, don't go away, stay with me because today will be a special episode in terms of what we're doing. So first of all, we are going to build the giant sequoias. As you've seen from the thumbnail, it's been in my head for quite a while, but I didn't find the time, neither did I have the interest and the patience to do it. But this time on Saturday, once there was this giant live stream day for me, I found the time to do it. However, before we jump into actually talking about what I'm doing, I wanted to do something completely different this time. I want to do a little competition, and you guys need to help me. And I just want to see if it has an effect, okay? So it's just a test, and I really would love if you guys take part. So here's the thing. I do have a Twitch channel, obviously. Most of you should know it by now. If not, how dare you, I guess. So the thing is, I want to see if we can get a connection done without actually screwing up on YouTube partnership and stuff too much. So here's the thing. I want you, for those of you who are not following on my Twitch channel, please go over to my Twitch channel, link is in the description as always, and go and give me a follow. And then please drop a comment down below under this video with your Twitch username that you did follow on there. Reason being is I'm giving away 2 monthly subscriptions on my channel next time when I'm streaming. To those 2 lucky winners, I'm going to announce in the stream but also in the video. So I mean, I will give them anyways the subscription, and you guys will see it. So you can use the emotes and stuff, and it will help us on the way to hopefully getting partnership on that purple platform in the future, so we can do some more cool stuff with emotes and stuff. Honestly, that's the only reason why. It's really about only the emotes. I have like a million emotes ready, and like subscriber points would be enough to have at least, I don't know, 20 emotes by now, I guess, but we only have 5. Anyways, I think I really want to see if that works. So just in short again, if you want to help me out, please go over to Twitch, follow me there, and drop your username down below in the comments. So I'm gonna give away 1 subscription. Unfortunately, I cannot do it for the people who already followed, but I will do something for those who are already followed in the future, so don't worry about that. I will do a random giveaway for all the subscribers already, and yeah, so I will definitely keep an eye on that. But that would be super awesome, because I think this could like be a very clever way of doing many things in one. And because this would give the channel a bit of traction, as well as giving me the opportunity to yeah, just see if there can be an interconnection between both channels, and yeah, just seeing if that has an effect. Also, we might just also crack the 4,000 followers on Twitch soon, which also would be quite an achievement. Anyways, enough of my social media stuff weirdness. Don't want to bother you too much with it, but I was just fighting with the pass system in the background, so nothing too special that you're missing out on here. Now, okay, so let me just give you the story, because one thing that I noticed recently that people were quite right about is that I missed out on talking about my projects as much as I could have done before. So you guys always want to know what my thoughts are behind the stuff I'm doing, and what my idea was, and what I'm even doing here, you know? And I want to give you this a bit more again, so let me just focus on that. Now, in particular, this area was very much a little pain point of this park for me, of the zoo. We had the big cat area, and we have the rest of the zoo. Now, the connection was a very boring, flat piece of path, and that has not really had any kind of charm. Neither was it interesting, neither was a story, neither was there any kind of drive that could lead the people to the new areas or make them actually want to explore that area. So I thought I need something that makes the people enjoy the walk a little bit more, because this area over here, like the whole zoo, is a lot about walking. It's quite a great valley. It's like really big, it's really sizable, it's you know, it takes a while to go from one area to the other, so there has to be something on the go, or on you know, during that journey, that keeps the interest level high up. And I wanted to kind of break the mood a little bit by making a little bit of a more interesting area, which the area itself is the star of the show. So I didn't want to have any kind of particular let's say habitat in here. I didn't want to have any particular animal, and also wanted to make sure that it's not all about the animals, that we can also have some nature going on, so it is a bit more about nature. And I did a lot of research again about Yosemite Valley. I watched another docu recently, which was pretty damn impressive and interesting. So I sat down and watched a lot more about the valley and what is there, what has been in the past, and obviously there was no way to avoid the giant sequoias that are in the Yosemite Valley as well. And it was super interesting to see what these trees actually do and how big they grow, and there were so many interesting things. And honestly, also people in the comments came up with that already a month ago, talking about the kind of little tunnel that goes through the trees. Now, first of all, and most importantly, this does not harm the trees. Like actually these, as far as I could find out, I think some of them might be might not be made to already broken trees, or not broken, but so what happens with these hefty and massive trunks of the trees, there is some kind of breaking going on just because of the sheer size and mass of that thing. So some of them also, they are freaking old. These trees are like insanely old. So over the course of the centuries, actually, they had some scars and stuff. And these scars, they kind of make some open areas in the root area. Now, as these things don't grow very wide roots, they have almost like a little, like a giant sphere that is below the actual root section, and then just grows deep down into the ground. And it actually uses every kind of resource that is around the tree to grow it, and sucks all the water, and actually sucks also heat and fire from them from the summer times. But I'm going to talk about that later because I found that super interesting. Now, one thing that also stood out to me is that I wanted to make these kind of iconic, as I was talking about, tunnels through the base of that tree. Now, in order to do this, I needed to make kind of a pathway that leads you through this area to make you actually have a reason, or to give you a reason, whatever English that was, to give you a reason to actually go through this area. And there will be a chimpanzee house at the end of it. Not in this episode, that's going to be Saturday's episode, and I can only tell you it's going to be insane. I'm super proud of the chimp house. It's going to be one of my best houses so far. It's not really a dome, but the house itself is super impressive, with a lot of new things, a lot of interesting layout decisions we took on stream. So it's really cool, and it's also pretty interesting in terms of findings, because I actually found something out in the game that I haven't been using because I didn't know about that before. So it's really interesting. It's got something to do with the staff behavior. Oh, you're going to see that in the next episode. So already making some advertisement for the next episode. Now, let's talk about these trees again. Well, you see it kind of being created in the background. I created this huge trunk as the first basic thing, and then I'm going to slap some trees in there to make sure that there is something growing. I have to say, I am quite happy with how they turned out in the first place, but I really hope that in the future we are getting some more different elements that would make the trees look even better. I'm not entirely happy with how they look, so with a little bit more time and a little bit more patience, I could make them look a bit more different from each other, because they do look somewhat similar, obviously, down to the fact that they are basically a carbon copy of each other, because I was a bit lazy to just build this every time again and again. Now, I just should talk about the fire thing I was mentioning earlier. So what I found super interesting, while this summer again were some big fires going on, and quite often in Yosemite and also in the area of California in general, there are some hefty fires in the summer month, and especially when there is a huge dry period going up front, then you have these fires. And usually fires are not the best friends of trees and plants by default. However, these trees, and that was for me somewhat very interesting to know, these giant sequoias, they actually require the fires in the summer, or like at extreme heats, because the seeds of those trees can only develop and grow with a huge amount of heat, which is interesting. So basically they need some fires in the summer, where basically the fires are burning most of the foliage and most of the trees around the giant sequoias. They burn them down, usually because they are a lot smaller and not that steady, and it takes a while until the giant sequoias would be burning down. So actually they do need that fire to make the seeds grow around themselves. So that's also the reason why sometimes you do see the sequoias pretty close to each other. They just grew next to them because the seeds were emerging from that heat that arose just around the corner. So that is one of the reasons. But it's, for me, it was super interesting to see something that is, at least feeling in the first place, very unnatural and very much like the exact opposite of what you would expect. Now, that said, I am impressed by how nature works in general. So yeah, it's again another example of how crazy the nature developed over the million years of existence in this wonderful planet, on this wonderful planet. Now, yeah, I'm just very much impressed by it every single time, and so it's really cool that this series also gave me this knowledge, because I needed to look it up and find that. Now, as you have seen, the most of the trees were done, and this part now is really trying to set the mood for the rest of this area. I was trying a lot with different kind of root things and almost like mushroom things that you will see in a second, which kind of were created by accident. So not really that I wanted to do it, but I just wanted to set a somewhat of a blueprint of how this area could look like. So I was trying different things, trying around with some mossy-ish things on top of them, and just like seeing how I needed to just move around the different root pieces to make sure that the root does not look too flat or whatever. So yeah, I was just trying to give this whole area a bit of character and to clean it all up. So yeah, at the end of this episode, this whole forest will not be done, but I think the basic idea is translated and transported to you, and I hope that you guys are as much happy with it as I am, because I have to say I am quite happy with it. But yeah, it will also require some time and some more work to make it really shine the way I want to. So we need to make this whole area a bit more lush on the lower part, so that we do actually have a little bit of a forest, that we do block some of the areas that are in the back. And so the most important thing once we do it is that the focus is still kept on the sequoias. So I do want the people to watch the trees. I don't want them to watch the forest or what is in the forest. I want them to give the peaks that go straight up to the sequoias, to just observe the giant appearance of those insane trees. I want to make them be the star of the show. I do want to make sure that this really feels something that is naturally fitting in that area. And I have to say, I also changed a bit of the terrain heights that go around there. I need to change somewhat a little bit of the terrain and the foliage that is up the hill where the street is going and the parking lot is sitting and stuff like that. So mainly because I want to make sure that this is hiding the height differences a little bit. So from the very beginning of this valley, I created this with the thought in mind that I want to go for some sequoias at a certain point. So that is also part of the reason why I decided to have this valley be, a significant step lower than the rest of the higher up level. So there was always the thought going into it that I want to have something that grows a little bit into the higher, let's say higher, and is still not too much of a focus point, because the one thing that you still want to have and is a consistent look, a consistent view into the valley, and it shouldn't be taken over entirely by the sequoias. So this will be a huge challenge, and this is also why I decided to make this area sit to the right hand side and not in the center or not in the far back, because, well, if I would have put that to the far back of this valley, it would have created some kind of false perspective in a way that it kind of makes the whole area seem tilted almost, because the trees grow higher to the end. So you don't get this like perspective into the view. It almost seems like you're keeping the whole area flat by having this slight incline in tree levels, and then it might make up for a very interesting view, but it's definitely not realistic. And I want to give this valley a super nice perspective view. Once we are done, it should really give you this nice view into the valley where you can focus and follow the river that is going into the middle, with the foliage and the forest going to the left and right, and then having all the peaks of the mountains and the skyline of the mountains in the very back. So it kind of gives you that almost drawing-like feeling, and therefore I didn't want to have those trees in there as a yeah, almost like an annoyance, I guess, because I didn't want them to interrupt this whole feeling, and I still wanted to have them in. So quite a lot of things that went into my thoughts here. Now, yeah, I think it's time for wrapping my thoughts up here, because that was quite a lot of info that I put in here. But honestly, it's pretty easy to explain that, because now, slapping around rocks and stuff is nothing you haven't seen before. So it's just making sure that everything looks a bit more cleaner. Just, as always, these little weird curb pieces, or actually I should say these little trunk pieces that are part of the freaking pathway for whatever reason in the natural path, but I wanted obviously to cover them all up because they look ugly and they don't deserve to be in there and to be seen. Now, yeah, no, okay, that's been it, talking about this whole idea. I think you got it, you got the point, you got the idea. Now, my question is now to you guys, because we had the Twitch topic at the beginning. So for those of you who just jump during the video, for those skippers, I see you, I know you, I feel you. If you want to help me out, just jump to the very beginning of the video, listen to me, because this is quite important for me, and it would be a huge help if you could do that. But anyways, for those of you who had just listened through the entire video, I really want to know from you guys, it's more like the question of the day. I wanted to know if there's anything else you would wish from Yosemite, what we could do, not in terms of animals, but in terms of Yosemite Valley, because I think Yosemite itself is quite an interesting area to be in, and it has a lot of great things in here, and I can already tell you that I will do the half dome properly. It's gonna be huge work, but I'm very happy to say that I will approach that in the future. Now, I really want to know from you guys, what do you want to have in here? Like, there's so much I could do. I could make some hiking trails. I could make whatever. I could even try to make some more interrail connections. I don't know. I could even make like a bit more streets. I could, whatever, you guys tell me in the comments down below. But that would be really cool if you could tell me what you would wish to have in that zoo. And yeah, I think that's about it. For what I wanted to talk about. We do have some minutes left of me basically cleaning up some trees and doing all the stuff that's need to be done. I think I'm gonna give you a little bit of a teaser of next episode. The cool thing is you're not able to see that because obviously it's still the rest of the live stream from Saturday, which was not tackling the chimpanzee house. But next episode will be focusing on the chimpanzee house. Now, this chimpanzee house is something that is rather interesting because it has a different purpose than the rest of the zoo. So the rest of the zoo was always kind of implemented as the main part of that area. Now, every habitat was meant to be in the center of that area. So it should be the one thing that you're looking at, so you are dragged towards it. The chimpanzee house, however, should be more hidden away intentionally. It should be a little bit something to discover more than dragging you, whether the other ones are more like a intrinsic motivation that people see it and want to go there. This one should be more like a little surprise discovery you have. I mean, honestly, for those people buying a zoo map at the very entrance of the park, whatever, they don't really question that it is existing because they know it. But for those you just discovering that area, they do just get this little surprise in this forest over here, being greeted by this chimpanzee house. So I will make sure that this is hidden for the most parts of that area, and you just get there by following the 2 or actually 3 pathways that go through here. We have a very straight one in the center where we have the bridges. Honestly, I want to change it a little bit. Maybe I want to make the bridges maybe into different areas because I felt it was a bit too straight, a bit too unnatural, and I want to make it more organic. But this is something for later. But the chimpanzee house is going to be very interesting because it will be a walk-in habitat, having an indoor and outdoor area, and incorporating multiple layers where the animals are living, having some privacy, having some vet capabilities for the staff members, and also having some cool interactions between staff members, guests, and the area itself. Now, that's been it for today. I really hope you did enjoy. Again, if you want to help me out, make sure to do the Twitch thing. I explained everything in the beginning, so jump back if you forgot about that. But if not, thank you a lot for all your support as always, and I hope you guys have a wonderful hump day. I see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye. Alrighty guys, thank you for watching this video, I really do appreciate that. As always, make sure to check out also my social media channels. You can find me everywhere under @RudyRunCamel. Also big thanks to the crew, you can see it on the left hand side right now. And as always, if you want to see more, you click that card on the top right. And if you want to stick around because you like the stuff you've just saw, whatever, you know what I mean, just click that sub button, which is to the bottom right of the screen right now. But everything else I can say is have a great time and see you next time. Bye guys.